All right, ladies and gentlemen, yours truly back on the mic, coming to you with another episode of Turn 4 Sparks Controversy. This is episode 12 in all, the first of 2025. To get things rolling and to get the ball rolling for the first episode of the new year, I have not one, not two, not three, but four peeps in the squad in this room that are also with me to get things rolling, to kick things off for what's to come for 2025. So, with that being said, I'm on with my wonderful girlfriend, aka Jessica Strauss,
Hello.
along with my racing colleagues, Dave, Bryce, and Saundra. Saundra, Dave, Bryce, say your introduction.
Hello.
What's up, guys?
Yep.
All right, first things first. We have the F1 season approaching, which is I think less than 60 days away now. Sandra,
It's a month away.
It is 61 days away until the first race of the F1 season.
I thought you said 60 last night or the other night. But as far as this recording goes, speaking of which, the time of this recording, January 16th, 2025, F1 is about 60 days away. With it, in a huge anticipation of what's to come, considering I hear from a lot of people that McLaren are the favorites to be champions for not only the constructors race but for the drivers table, most notably Lando Norris being the talk of the town. Y'all have anything to say about Lando Norris and his performance and what's to come for him next this upcoming season? Y'all can say your stances on that, starting with my boo-boo, who's a big Lando Norris fan, by the way.
He is going to dominate, win not every race, almost every race, get on the podium in every race. First driver to do so since Michael Schumacher in 2002, and he will be the world champion. Max Verstappen is going to have a Sebastian Vettel 2014 type season with only 2 podiums and finishing 5th in the standing. And who are we going to beat out? No other than Charles Leclerc. That's my point.
I agree.
No, disagree.
Oh, why say that?
Look, as good as Lando is, and we all know this, I mean, he had a chance at the championship somewhat last year. We know this. But as we all know how this is going to go, we all know still how good Max Verstappen is. And not to mention, you also have to take into account of the fact, too, that, hey, did you forget? Lewis Hamilton's going to Ferrari, and he might, I'm not saying he will, might be that one missing piece along with Leclerc that might put Ferrari back on the map. You never know. So that's just my little synopsis there. And not to mention, you can't also forget, too, that you still have Max Verstappen in there. And Verstappen literally has just won, as you've seen before, the last, 3 championships. So he's primed and ready to win a 4th. So as far as, at least for me, I guess I'll take the 4th. I guess for me, I'll just say it flat out. Verstappen's winning a 4th title. Lando's going to come close, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
I noticed you say he's going to win a 4th and not a 5th. So that tells me that in your book that Lewis has won the 2021 championship. If I'm getting that correct.
I still say that to this day. I'm not changing my mind.
I say the exact same thing. And Dave, we talked about this. In the pilot.
Yep.
But regardless,
I remember it.
But regardless, though, I can see Jessica, Bryce. I can see where you both are coming from. Dave, you agree with Jessica's point. Do you agree with Bryce's point simultaneously?
I can see both sides.
I say the same thing. Now, Sandra, last but most certainly not least, your stances.
You make me be last, why don't you? I agree with both those points. But however, Max at one point did say he was not going to have a kid until he retired. So what does that mean for him this season with a child on the way?
That is true, since he will be a father in 9, 8, 7 months from now?
I'd say soon, I think.
As of this recording, he'll be a father.
Yeah, I would say.
At the same time, like what Bryce said, I still see Max doing his thing, leading, winning races, and yes, winning the championship. However, I think Bryce, I don't know if you remember this, but I remember seeing a post on Instagram where it said every time a new year was on a Wednesday, 2014 and 2020, Lewis Hamilton went on to win the championship. And 2025, the new year, January 1st, it was on a Wednesday this year. Maybe.
I'm a delusional
Lewis
Ferrari fan. I think
maybe
Ferrari can do it.
he could pull up a Kimi Raikkonen because y'all remember in 2007 when Raikkonen joined Ferrari for the first time, he won the championship.
He beat Lewis by 1 point, exactly.
And Fernando.
Well,
So the same thing can happen in this case with Lewis, with his first gig with Ferrari, wins the championship. The same thing might happen, but at the same time, we know how Ferrari was these last how many years, always shooting themselves in the foot with strategy, with the wrong place at the wrong time. Most notably, Hungary 2020.
Exactly.
And Monaco, same year, 2022.
And a whole bunch of Spinalas.
Oh, and another one, Malaysia 2000.
And a whole bunch of Spinalas, too.
Wet compounds when the track was still dry. It still boggles my mind to this day why they got away with that. But at the same time, I see Ferrari still having a solid season. Give or take, maybe second in the championship, maybe third, considering Hamilton's there with Leclerc, and given how Leclerc is consistent, it is consistency because he always was ever since he joined Ferrari. And even his days with Sauber when he was a rookie in 2018. So like you said, Bryce, Lewis can be the final piece to the puzzle for Ferrari to finally win themselves a driver's championship for the first time since Kimi Raikkonen in 2007. Actually, 2008, when Philip won the championship. Albeit for
15 seconds.
And the last time Ferrari won the Constructors was 2008. That was the last time they won Constructors. But at the same time, with that change, that means Carlos Sainz has been demoted to Williams. How do you think in Williams equipment? Starting with ladies first, Jessica and Saundra. Jessica, starting with you.
Saundra's muted right now, so I'm just saying, Sainz is probably going to be bad. I don't mean to break anybody's hearts here, but it's probably going to be the worst statistical season of his career. It's not even close. Williams are slow. They've been slow since 2019, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it here. It's going to be a bad season. Buckle up, Sainz fans. This is about to be the worst rough roller coaster of your life.
Arguably since 2018. But Saundra, what about you? Do you agree with my boo-boo's point?
I feel like it could be both a good season or a bad season. You never know. Carlos did, in my opinion, of what I have seen of him in a Ferrari, he did pretty great. However, Williams is a different team. Those cars haven't really done great the past season in 2024 with the drivers wrecking and all that, not constantly. But, you never know. Every driver could have a good season or they could have a bad season.
Well, mainly, I have to agree with Jess's point. Now, I would say, saying it'll probably be like the worst stretch of his career, I feel like that's reaching a little bit because we know that he can still drive. But I don't disagree, though, that I feel like this season will definitely be a massive step backwards, mainly because of the fact that, if you know your F1 history, Williams hasn't actually been collectively good as a team since the 1990s. So it's definitely going to be, I would say, a tumultuous season, I would feel like. But it's mainly just, it's not even Carlos's fault, obviously, either. It's just the simple fact that he's going to a team that hasn't been good in a very, very long time, if not really, really, rarely ever is. They do have their moments, obviously, as we've seen before, where they have gotten some points and they have been somewhat competitive, but it is going to be it really is going to be a stretch, though, saying that, they might be contenders this year, bringing on a new driver. Now, of course, they can always prove us wrong. I mean, that does tend to happen in motorsports. We know this, but again, I do feel like it's going to really be a stretch saying that, it'd either be the worst of his career or it'd be the best of his career. I feel like for me, it's going to be somewhat in the middle.
I mean, it's definitely a step back for Sainz. But yeah, you just never know how it is going to be. I mean, we saw how like McLaren was. They were towards the back. Now they got to the front, but Williams is different. I think they could be decent midfield, but we don't know till they're on the track.
Exactly. We won't know until we see the answers come Melbourne for the first race of the season, which I got the predictions up. I did my Google document on who's going to finish where and who's going to get fastest, and also did a prediction on not the constructors as of yet, but I did the predictions for who's going to finish where. So I did that. We might get into that in this recording, but we'll see. On top of that, speaking of which, you remember, Dave, we talked about Kimi Antonelli possibly going over to Mercedes last year?
Yes.
Guess what? It's confirmed. It's confirmed.
So he's my age. Like, I'm actually, you know what? I'm actually older than him. I feel like he may underperform a little bit because, like, he's not used to the car. Like, if I was in that same position, I probably would have struggled my rookie season. But then by his sophomore season, I don't expect him to win or anything. No way. He's not Lewis Hamilton 2007. Get rid of that thought right now. Like, take it and throw it in the garbage. That's not going to happen. Although he has performance in F2, I don't think he was ready yet, in my opinion. I feel like if I was in that same situation, I probably would have stayed like one more year in F2 and then move up to F1 when I turn 19. But hey, it is what it is. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's not going to have a good season.
To be fair, I can agree with that. Yes, but what I thought was with Lewis going to Ferrari taking Carlos's seat, I thought Carlos was going to be the one to go to not Ferrari, good lord, Mercedes. I'm sorry, I will always be a Ferrari fan, no matter who's driving those cars.
A delusional Ferrari fan,
but
as you keep saying to yourself.
Yes. But to be fair, I agree. I don't think Kimmy's going to have that great of a year. But you never know. Different drivers, different teams. It could happen to anyone, any team.
Heck, hell, he could win the World Constructors Championship for all we know.
Exactly.
Well, in the hands of Mercedes, because Russell's also there with him.
True that.
Gentlemen, your stances. Bryce, starting with you.
I don't really know much about him, so to be honest, there's really not much I can really even say. Because I feel like even if I had an opinion, it really doesn't mean much. Because again, it's a young driver, someone who's just coming in. So I really don't have, and I don't know much about him, so I really can't say much about it. But the only thing I really can say is you're just gonna have to see how he performs as the season progresses. That's really all I can say, because I can't really say anything because I just don't really know much about him.
I'm probably saying that Toto rushed him too soon. I mean, and he's probably like overhyped. Like, he might show some like good speed, but yeah, he's probably gonna struggle against Stewart. He might have might be impressive during maybe qualifying, maybe. Yeah, he's probably going to struggle.
So we all say that he's going to have a rough rookie season.
So, like, not in the sense of Pastor Maldonado. He's just a wrecking tornado.
Which he was.
Exactly.
But would you believe me, honey? Would you believe me if I told you that Pastor Maldonado actually won a race?
Yeah, in 2012. Was it Mickey? Yes, it was.
It's a theory regarding the tire compounds that Williams used for that weekend in Spain. It was Pastor Maldonado with a dub into Williams' latest win. Maldonado with a dub. Fernando was second, and Kimi was third, rounding out the podium for Lotus. And that would be Maldonado's only win and only podium in his whole career. And pole position, too. Originally, it was Lewis Hamilton, but if I remember correctly, due to a fuel infringement, he was excluded from his pole position slot and started from the back of the grid. I forget what position he placed in, but at least Lewis won 4 races in his final outing with McLaren. Won in Canada, Hungary, Monza, and Texas, despite the reliability issues that the MP427 had in 2012. But still, even Jensen won races, 3 of them. Australia, Spa, and Brazil, which Brazil was his last win in Formula One. Of course, we all know Lewis won a frick ton more races after that with Mercedes. Still kind of weird that...
We all thought it was bad.
What? What, honey?
We all thought that Lewis going to Mercedes was a bad call. Y'all remember that?
Dave, I'm pretty sure you know because you were watching F1 even then.
Yes.
Hold on. Did you thought it was a bad move with Lewis going over to Mercedes at the time?
I did. Well, because at the time, mostly Rosberg was the only one that, had a few wins. But overall, Mercedes, were decent midfield cars at best.
When they first started with Rosberg and Michael Schumacher.
Yes.
Then when Lewis came on, they were more consistent. And in 2014, they were especially consistent with winning the most races and winning the Constructors' Championship with ease. The Drivers' Championship, that's debated because Rosberg and Hamilton were nipping tongues for the championship, i.e. 2014 and 2016. I.e., sorry to bring it up, but Spain 2016, Austria 2016, and Spa 2014 when they collided. Which, when we review the 2014 and 16 seasons, we'll definitely have more stances on those moments. But in the meantime, that was when Red Bull were slumping because they were still getting used to the regulations at the time with them switching over to the V6 hybrids, and they were still getting used to the Renault V6 turbo that they were using in the first couple of seasons in this hybrid era. They were slumping. And touching on Red Bull, we have Max Verstappen obviously returning for another year, and Liam Lawson joining him. This means Sergio Perez got kicked to the curb. Are any of you surprised by that?
Hell no! I was expecting this one. I was really not surprised at this point. Hey, he's more than welcome to come to the NASCAR Cup race at Mexico. It's his hometown, But I was noticing his performance is way off compared to Max's. I'm like, there is no way in hell that they're keeping him. Like, come on. Who do you want, to bring in? And do you want Liam Lawson to underperform? No. Did he do all right with his starts in the cash out that we probably have to pay for? Kind of. But Yeah, Checo's performance was not worthy of him keeping the seat. I'm sorry.
Sandra?
I wasn't even thinking at that moment. Why?
What the hell?
Your thoughts on Liam Lawson joining Red Bull, replacing Checo?
No, I'm sorry. Yuki waited, 3.5 years? It should have been given to Yuki. That's all I gotta say about that.
Honey, do you agree with that statement?
Yes, I do. It should have gone to Yuki. You think Yuki deserved it? Yes. And would Hajar go to, like, I hope they're not crappy, but I mean, I don't mind it at all. Liam may underperform in Red Bull, and he'll probably get ousted after one season and replaced by another Red Bull Junior alumni. Or maybe Yuki comes up and gets promoted. Or it could happen midway through the season. You may never know.
You're right. We could have another mid-season driver change.
Because that's been a norm for
And Max,
how many years now?
God.
But anyway, gentlemen, what about your stances? Dave, starting with you.
I'm not surprised. The previous seasons, he started off strong,
Minus
kind of went
last year.
down.
Minus last year.
Yeah, right.
Granted, he got a few podiums, but that was it.
Right. But the previous seasons, he always started strong, but then started decline. But towards the end, he kind of he came back a little, and that was pretty much the trend, except for last season.
Because last season, he struggled the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
While Max just ran away from the competition. Well, no, because
kind of
challenged him for the championship, but Max was more consistent and wrapped up the championship in Vegas. I'm just going to say this now. I might be the only person in this room who supports Max, so do not put pitchforks at me for saying that. But I think it was dope and badass to see Max being crowned champion in Vegas. What better place to be crowned champion than in Vegas? But enough of that. Bryce, your stances on Liam Lawson getting that Red Bull seat next to Max for this 2025 campaign.
I'm just gonna keep it short, sweet, and straight to the point. Lawson, really? Like, the only thing I'm gonna sit here and say is Checo was straight garbage the last few seasons. You really think Lawson's gonna do any better in that same car that Checo couldn't even he literally just could not even keep up with Max with? That's all I gotta say.
And
that's it. You think he's gonna do any better?
And put a person in there who has less experience too. Because Saundra, you mentioned that Yuki should be in that seat.
Yes.
He has more experience.
Or it should be given back to Daniel. I mean,
hell yeah.
Even though Daniel,
but then again,
go ahead, Bryce.
But then again, I mean, to tell you the truth, is it really surprising to anybody? Because Lance Stroll still exists. So it's like, are we really surprised at all that someone like Liam Lawson's going to get, is going to get like a major seat when someone like Lance Stroll exists, who's just hawking up a ride at Aston Martin that literally someone else could be driving and getting so much out of more with?
Exactly.
The reason why I'm laughing is, Dave,
it's not surprising.
Dave, you mentioned the exact same thing every time I'm on the phone with you. And when we bring up Aston Martin, you keep sugarcoating that Lance should be out of that seat.
Oh, I'm not sugarcoating. I'm telling you, he shouldn't be in that seat. He's hogging it because he's a window licker.
Well, then tell Lord Stroll to pack his bags and get out of here. What's the point?
Well, my point, Dave, every time I bring
Lance Stroll has got to be probably the worst F1 driver I've ever seen.
Oh, dude, I've seen.
I mean, you have to be stuck on complete. I'm just gonna say it right now. You have to be stuck on like stupid or some kind of absolute drug. I don't know what drug it is that he took. What was it, at China or whatever it was? You're going to run straight into the back of Daniel Ricciardo's car, then get out, and then blame Ricciardo for it when you literally, as they're literally, what are they, under the safety car or whatnot, you run smack dab into the back of him, and then you want to blame it on him?
Not to mention spun and beached himself in the formation lap in Brazil.
I'm sorry. Excuse my French. This is probably one of the only times I actually even curse tonight, but the guy is absolute and utter dog water. I'm sorry. He has got to be the worst F1 driver I think I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, he literally fits the mold for someone that is you don't want to be. I mean, I'm sure we've probably all seen a lot of the videos on YouTube absolutely just torching this man. I mean, one video actually I had seen recently literally pointed it out that he literally more than 90% of the time looks like he doesn't even want to be there.
Who is it now? Lance Stroll freaking sucks and needs to be gone out of F1.
Hell,
he's only going to be there because his dad pays for it.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yes,
we all know why he's still here. Daddy gets to pay for it.
It's because his father is paying the whole team, including the cars. That's why
Daddy gets to pay for it. So
Daddy's
he gets to
money.
stay there.
That's what I'm saying.
He's like Cody Ware. He's Lance Stroll can probably wreck a stock car, and like Cody Ware would still be worse. Because Cody Ware is worse than Lance Stroll.
We don't like Cody Ware.
At least
nobody.
We don't talk about Cody Ware, but at least Cody Ware has one thing that Lance Stroll doesn't have, and that's talent to a degree. Even saying talent is a minor stretch, but he has some level or layer of talent, something that Lance Stroll doesn't have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And frankly, when Lance's case, never will. Now, people will say, what about Baku 2017 or his 2020 season when he got, 2 podiums, Monza and Bahrain? That's really it. Has he come close to winning a race? No.
No, not at all.
Has he become a
I
championship?
highly doubt Lance Stroll is ever going to win.
Has he become a championship contender? Absolutely not. Another one that they'll probably back up is Turkey 2020 when he won the pole and led the most laps, but Lance being Lance,
that was luck.
Faltered. And it was. Again, that's why I say in the latter stages of that particular race, he faltered. And my boy Lewis came out on top as a 7th world championship. Hopefully he gets another
one.
Can you drive in these conditions? Yes. Proceeds to wreck anyway.
That's Lance for you. That's Lance for you. And yes, Bryce, you were right. When you said China, it was China. It was China.
I figured it was.
What about Sochi?
Sochi?
When it was raining.
Oh, wait.
Sochi?
Are you talking about 2021?
Yeah, when it was slippery, and they asked if he can still stay on the track. He said yes, and then like a second later he spins.
Oh, I remember now.
You know who could drive
that was the race where Lando could have had his first win, but faltered.
But no, because of the rain, it sucked.
Or because Lando decided to stay out on slicks and come in for inters.
So, well, actually, that was just
in that case.
That was his team's fault for simply asking instead of telling him to change the tires.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
If they told him to pit, he probably would have at least probably stay on the podium. I'm not sure if he would have actually won.
He would have.
Well, I mean,
on.
Well,
I put the intermediates on.
But Hamilton still had better pace
and better racecraft.
He probably would have caught him in like 5 laps.
And better racecraft. In that race, he hit that century number of 100 wins.
We'll probably never see that in F1 again.
Exactly.
Probably not for a while.
He's the GOAT for a reason. Along with Michael Schumacher. I have my reason. What?
You heard me.
I did not actually.
I would say I don't think we did.
I don't think we heard you either. No.
I said wrong when you said Schumacher.
Let me guess. Are you going to win Schumacher's cheating moments?
Yep.
OF 1997
Oh, God.
or Monaco 2006 during qualifying, so I can see where you're coming from. But at the same time, I have my reasons.
So what I'm saying is, if Lance Stroll is driving a go-kart, he would probably crash into a wall on every, turn.
Speaking of which, myself, Jessica, and Dave have been go-karting these last few days as of this recording. And honey, do you want to say to the listeners what happened the last time we went karting?
Okay. I'm super happy to say that I have finally won my first go-karting race after 9 years. It felt so good to get that first win off my back. Yeah. Well, maybe it's because your kart did not know how to turn right and wants to go on an oval instead.
I did not like the kart that I was driving in that session. It did not turn properly. Every time I tried to turn to the right, it would just oversteer massively, or I would just have to turn super hard to make a right turn. Not to mention the kart was wobbly on the straights. I literally had to hold on for dear life because of how wobbly that damn thing was. But in the other
kart number one is
you.
my new best friend. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Same time, I still got to whoop Dave, though. I still got to use that tactic on you next time we go go-karting. I still got to use that hot lap, cool down, hot, cool tactic. Hopefully that worked. Wait, Dave, do you remember your time? Your personal best lap time?
It was a 20.519.
You say 20.5?
Yeah, when we did the league.
Honey,
yes,
honey,
yes, I remember that.
Honey, did you say the last time we went karting, which was as literally the other day? Didn't you say my personal best?
It was yesterday.
Was
I'm recording.
3?
Alex's was a 20.3. Yeah.
Well,
watch out, Alex.
More than that. Yours was a bit lower than that. What was my time? A 20.3?
It was like a 20 point. It was a 20.4.
Hey Dave, you say your personal best was a 20.5?
Yes, because the second quali, the car I had was not as good. It was at least like 0.3 slower.
You remember the kart number for that one?
What when I did my time?
Mm-hmm.
Car 40.
Kart number 1 is my new best
Kart
friend.
40 is
I
perfect.
love it so much.
Kart 40 is perfect. And kart 8.
Mm-hmm.
But kart 12, yeah. Screw that kart. I never want to drive that kart again. That's what I'm going to say.
What do we do is we just take it and we can just burn kart 12 it down.
Yes. I never want to drive that kart again.
At my best time, I also set my best time when I won. It was a 21.919. I'm getting there. I'm getting close to some of the elites. I'm coming. I'm working my way up.
Like myself and Dave.
Yeah.
Hate to break it to you, but you still got catching up to do.
We got a long way to go.
You do.
Time to get there.
You do.
Exactly. I've got a long way to go, damn it.
Me and Dave, not to brag or anything, but me and Dave, we the elites.
You know who else is elite? Alex. And he turned, and like in the thing, he turned my ass.
And that's another penny.
By the way, that's 2 pennies.
Yeah, I was about to say that's 2 pennies. One for Bryce, one for my boo-boo.
Hey, I'm just saying the truth. Like, I was coming in the corner at the last thing, and he just spun me out.
And that disgusted me. Speaking of which, Alex, Alex, if you're listening to this, we got to get you on one of these days. Seriously. But anyways, honey, keep going.
Yeah, he just got into my rear, and like he hit me in the rear. Like I'm like, and then I'm thinking like, what the?
And that's another penny.
Oh my God! Shut up.
The more you
I mean, I just don't want to get.
say that.
Yeah, that's more work for you. Oh boy. At least, hey, and then there was this one time in my league, it was in the C main, and there was this one guy, his name is Herman, and guess what? I beat the dude in practice.
And you did the same.
Yeah, I beat him. I did the same to me, because like, I think I hit him once, and then, like, he stopped, because I had nowhere to go. He stopped right in the center, and then I'm like, I don't know what to do, because like, I didn't want to like crash him and tip him over. Like that would be a pretty stupid thing to do. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Why? And then I got warned by an official saying that like, oh, he's like, I hit him once and like kind of hit him again, and I couldn't catch up to the sixth place car, and I couldn't catch up to them, and I finished like I finished in your like in the thing I finished one spot ahead of you, and then in the B mains went to go down. And then what happened is you were battling for fifth. And then there was like a 4 wide for fifth, and then the guy in cart 31 was so pissed. He just kept slamming on the wheel. He was that mad.
You're talking about the finish?
Yes, I'm talking about that finish, yeah.
Yeah, I was part of that finish.
Yeah. And then like there was one guy that kid turned around and he was like mad. He's just like banging on the wheel. He was so pissed.
Yeah, I saw that from the corner of my eye.
Oh boy. I don't want to keep shouting here.
And I started fifth in that race. I started fifth. I tried to make positions up, but given that it's extremely narrow, the circuit is extremely narrow, like Monaco, you can't pass. You can't pass here, you can't pass there. I tried to make the pass in the first corner, but if only my kart had enough more power so I can go faster than the drivers in front of me. But sadly, I didn't have enough power or the torque to get that boost of speed or the extra boost of speed to get that run to the first corner. So I was limited with what I could do with my kart. Not just that, but the passing opportunities. But I did get that coming out of the last lap on the last corner, hence the photo finish. I dropped back 1 or 2 places at the start, but then I got those places back courtesy of that photo finish at the end. Started fifth and then finished fifth. While not
I think I started 7th and I finished 6th.
I started fifth and finished fifth. Dave, where did you finish again?
For that final race, I finished 7th.
Yeah, I finished 1 spot better than you.
Well, in that case, I finished higher than the both of you. I finished fifth. Also, I don't know if y'all saw what Saundra just texted, but y'all up for some Uno after this? Or
possibly, yeah.
The episode.
But what I'm saying is, yeah, after the episode. How about Bryce and Saundra should definitely go karting. I think would be fun for them.
Bryce, you remember Speedway?
But you gotta remember, I live in Missouri.
I remember Speed Raceway in Horsham. There is a K1 in Branson, Missouri. There is a K1 Speed in Branson.
Yeah, I'd have to find that. I don't know where the hell that is.
When you find that,
it's in
that little section of Missouri, and that's it.
If you go to that K1 that my boo-boo just mentioned, Saundra, if you go to that, let me know.
I would like to do that.
Hold on. Saundra, have you went go-karting before?
No.
You never went go-karting before?
Not in the way that you guys have.
So you have went go-karting, but not at K1 or places like that?
Pretty much. The only place I've gone somewhat go-karting at is the Family Fun Center in Medford, Oregon. It's got go-karts. It's got the freaking bumper boats, mini golf, and a big old arcade and like a batting
Cage, like batting cage.
Yeah. I couldn't remember the word, but yeah. That's about the only time I've done go-karting.
Did you win?
No, I always sucked.
Well, you have me, honey.
However, I have tried to drift those little carts.
Wait, you drifted in
I
those
get-
carts?
Uh-huh.
They do. K1 does have drift nights. They do have drift nights.
They do.
I need that.
For some reason, initially.
But it only happens like 4 times a year.
So, Saundra, you say you drifted a
You know
go.
what I want to do for my birthday? Not
What's
only
that?
for my birthday this year do I want to watch NASCAR and get a little bit of the word I will not say in case younger children are watching and listening. The word that
Well,
starts with an
For
A.
kids. Is it ass?
That's a penny, Jess.
Dang it! No!
How many pennies do you have now?
Yet I have not said a single swear word this whole time.
Surprisingly.
The only ones that have been swearing is me and Bryce.
Exactly.
Galvin, you cursed a couple times, right?
Not in this recording. I haven't cussed not once so far.
Yeah, Bryce, would you want to go karting?
Sounds fun. I mean, I haven't been go-karting in a very long time.
I think the last time we went go-karting was 10 years ago.
I haven't gotten
Yep,
hurt.
June 20th, 2015 was the last time I went.
The one at the Speed Raceway one, correct? Well, K1 Speed is it
Yep.
now.
It's K1 speed, yeah.
Well, Bryce, times have changed. Times have changed.
I am looking up.
At some point, we should do the monthly league that K1 Speed has. We should do that at some point. So if
I'm in it.
Sunday, you're free on the first Sunday of every month, Bryce. Show up to K1 Speed, race on.
It's on.
Okay.
You're going down, Bryce. You're going down.
I have to write down an address.
Don't get too cocky, honey.
I know. Stop.
I was about to say, don't get too cocky because you are great. Trust me. I may not have stepped foot in a go-kart in a good little bit, but trust me, I will tell you straight from experience that I am one of the better racers you'll race against. And I'm telling you this too because, not to mention, I'm no slouch because the last time I raced at Speed Raceway, I actually was at the top of the board, second and first in both of my attempts.
Oh, God. No.
Hold on.
Second in the first attempt, and then top the board with the fastest time in the second attempt.
Was it your first time?
No, just a heads up.
That happened.
And that was my first time ever racing there, and did that well.
Alrighty with the.
I'm just letting the stats speak for itself.
You can beat Herman.
I don't even have to say much. I'm just gonna let the stats speak for itself.
Then
Bryce, you can actually beat that one guy I beat.
Well, maybe we'd have to see.
Exactly. But again,
Exactly.
times have changed. And again,
We can't get too ahead of ourselves.
Honey, you heard that?
Yes.
Don't get too cocky now.
Yes, baby. I
Just trust me. The second you get way too ahead of yourself, then that's when you really will set yourself up for failure later.
Exactly.
Or even if that's not the case, you'll really screw yourself over, and then people will look at you like you shouldn't have been talking.
Yeah, the cameras I would use for them are not for kids. It's not for kids. That's why I would probably put a disclaimer before I start the video. Because there is swearing in there.
And by that, you were saying swear words out loud while racing beneath that helmet you were wearing.
Yes. That's why I was going to say something like, warning, the following video you are about to see is from a K1 Speed League race I did in Cinnamon, New Jersey on January 5th, 2025. This video contains strong language and may not be suitable for children under the age of 18. If you're under the age of 18, I recommend you go watch another video. This video is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Yeah, like that.
Oh, Dave, you said
I found AK1 speeding. Oh God, I can't English. Good lord. I found a location for K1 speed. I'm writing down the address and everything.
Woohoo!
Maybe I'll convince my parents to take me there for my birthday.
fingers crossed.
Yeah, if you get a membership, you get a free race on your birthday.
Fingers crossed that you get to go, Saundra. But Dave, you know that you remember you keep you told me to for going the first corner, hug the inside as much as possible to get a good exit and a good lap time.
Yes.
I did that when me and my booba went go-karting last time. I did that and it paid off that time. But it depends on which go-kart that you use. Sometimes it'll work when you hug the inside line. Sometimes it'll work, but with other go-karts, sometimes you gotta run just a little bit wide to make the good exit.
Exactly.
Not just a good entry, but a good exit as well. As long as you keep the cart stable, and as long as the cart doesn't bounce around every time you exit on one, because sometimes I had that problem.
Like yesterday.
Most notably, the first session we did.
I'm not rubbing it in.
And then the last session we did, I don't know who was driving cart 9, but whoever was driving cart 9 was slow as hell.
Exactly. I had to find a way to. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, I would say like WTF, and like I was trying to get around him. I also learned how to use my brake.
I did have to touch the brake because the final corner, while I was trying to make the move on the back marker, she cut me off, and it was about to be a crash. And that's when I had to hit the brake, and I did at the right time. If I didn't, then there would have been a massive wreck. There would have been a massive shunt.
Exactly. I think also in the second session, like this one was spinning around, I had to stop and half of my visor flicked open.
Really?
Yes, it did. Because like this one
I
was
have
spinning around.
found my 2015 stats. I actually found these. Holy hell.
Awesome. You'll probably kick my ass then, right?
I can read you off the lap. I can read you off the lap times I actually have here.
I was about to say, can you
So
lap times?
the first race, and these were junior laps, and these were junior races, by the way. Too.
I was a junior myself. When I first started, I was a junior.
But yeah, first race finished. Oh my god, excuse me. First race finished second behind T4SC, who had a time of 22.827.
Okay.
He had a 3-second gap on me, unfortunately. 3.5 gap. My fastest lap at that point, and it's only because when I first got into the cart, I was kind of putting a little too much turn into it. So my fastest there was a 26.362. But the one that I finished first in, which is the second attempt, right over here, this is by far the fastest out of everybody else here. Mind you, when I say this, and literally this gap here, I have a 2.8 gap over second place. And the guy that's in fifth is a 5.6 second gap. And everybody else is everyone else is 24 and under. My fastest lap, a 22.080.
Oh, you're off my time a little bit.
Impressive. Very impressive.
So there you
I
go.
think
So
the second race I ever did at K1 Speed ever, I pulled a Lando Norris Austria 2020 when he got fastest lap on the last lap.
Dave, do you remember that race?
And we ran 12 laps. We didn't run too far. We only ran 12 laps.
It's the same thing with the K1 Speed. It's 12 laps. Same thing. So
12 laps.
Yeah.
With the league, they add an additional. I think
they had 2 laps.
They add an additional 4 laps because it's 16 laps long in each race session. Even in qualifying too.
Also had the highest RPMs as well, 1,279. That's neat.
Is it a sheet of paper that you're reading off of, or?
Yeah, I'm just reading just off of these these printed sheets that I still have for all these years.
Hey, Bryce, what was your nickname when you went to Speed Raceway? What was your nickname?
I didn't think of one. I didn't have one.
So it was just Bryce.
What?
I'm guessing it was just Bryce then.
Yeah, I just put just my name. I wasn't thinking about putting a nickname. I just did just my.
You know what?
actual
Now
name.
to bring that up,
We can't have
now
we
to bring
can't
that.
have nicknames at K1 no more. That's sad.
Sorry.
However, we can say our nicknames here in this podcast. So, with that being, and I think you told me that Speed Raceway, when that was a thing, your name was Evil Bunny, I believe. Evil Bunny.
Yep, that was me. That was me.
I remember.
That was me. That was me. Yep. Because because the last time I went to Speed Raceway was before it became K1. It was March 4th of 2023, I believe. Yeah.
I'm just
Fast
reading up
forward.
something.
Fast forward 4 months later, we met.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
your reaction
It was a
when you
fun
saw me
day.
and Bryce after the race at Pocono. We were going down the stairs. I look to my left. I see this girl with her eyes wide open, covering her mouth, screaming her head off, saying, "Oh my god! Oh my god!" I'm over here saying, "What the hell?" You remember this? Because you remember I asked you, Bryce, is that a fan? I remember you saying in response, "Nah, it's a fan."
Wait, what now?
Pocono 2023, when the race concluded,
We'll go 2023.
we met my boo boo for the first time.
I don't think I do remember obviously us meeting. I don't remember the dialogue though.
My dad was there.
I remember it very vividly.
Then
I was hoping you followed the whole time.
I kind of just forgot about that part.
No,
That just
I know.
it's a little vague for me now because it's been 2 years now.
Yeah, it was really fun.
I know
It's like,
time flies by
If
really
Benny
fast.
Cameron been disqualified, you would have been playing the J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man 2, laughing his butt off.
That's an infamous laugh. It's so infamous. It's a meme. Seriously.
It's a meme.
But yeah, Pocono 2023. That's when we met. And
That's,
1 year later.
that's when the craziness started.
And 1 year later, we've been dating.
1 year later, we're dating.
But back to what I was saying.
Yeah, it was like what I said before. You guys are perfect for each other.
You said it then. You still say it now. You still stand by it.
Mm-hmm.
Time flies.
But anyways,
But back to what I was saying. At some point, we should all go karting simultaneously. Though Saundra, you may have to travel to do that. Given that,
No, I'd have to go like 3.5 hours to go to a karting track for K1 speed.
that's closest to you. But what I'm saying is, with days with me, my boo boo Dave and Bryce all go karting simultaneously. That's why I say you may have to do some traveling to do that.
Airport. The best airport is from St. Louis to Philadelphia.
If your flight
That's
don't
the
get
closest.
canceled,
I
Oh,
a little over a year. Do you really think I want to do that? I don't got the monies.
not unless you save up.
that cost like
Unless you save up.
McDonald's doesn't pay me good enough.
Again, you gotta save up. But
save up.
what I was saying was, if we come up, let's come up with nicknames as far as go-karting is concerned. Now, honey, you say Eva Bunny. Do you still want to keep that nickname, Eva Bunny? Or do you want to keep that?
I was gonna change it to like Lando Norris or something like that.
You stole my idea.
Sorry, not sorry.
No, it's alright. I can either go as Leclerc, I could go as Sainz, I could go as Hamilton.
Like
Options.
we need to go like full suits. Or in my case, that shirt I got for Christmas.
I meant with a nickname of our own.
Oh.
I'll go as Hellcat.
Did you say Hellcat or Hubcat?
Hellcat, like the Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now. Honey, what about you? You keeping the name Eva Bunny, or are you still going to change it up? If you are still going to change it up, what's it going to be?
I'm going to keep Evil Bunny. It's coming back. You heard it right here, folks.
Evil Bunny is making a return.
It's been in hiatus for 2 years now. It's coming back.
And Evil Bunny won a race.
Yes, I did. And you know what I did? I sang Lando's Friday then, like all that.
Sunday, what?
I actually sang that when I won. I actually sang that.
Reminiscent of Modelo 2020. Pretty sure it was either practice or qualifying. He sang those lyrics to.
It was practice. It was practice.
If I ever win a karting race, I'm gonna start singing Smooth Operator.
Except he did not finish on the podium in that race. That honor went to my boy Houston, who got the dub. Valtteri was second, and I forgot because I even watched the full race months ago. But I know for a fact Hamilton won. I'm pretty sure Valtteri was second because Max crashed out in the opening lap. But I'm pretty sure Valtteri was second, and Alex Albon got on the podium in third in Red Bull equipment. His first podium.
Speaking of Formula One, 59 days until race day.
Woo! I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
And 31 days until the Daytona 500.
Are you ready for season 5 of the Max Verstappen show?
1 month from now, the Daytona 500.
500 is 1 month away.
1 month from now, as of this recording, of course, because I don't know when this podcast will be uploaded. So that's why I keep saying as of this recording. So
Jimmy Johnson's gonna do you.
Saundra,
I'm gonna say it right here.
My boo-boo, you say Eva Bunny. Dave, what about you?
What's that?
What nickname?
Go-kart nickname.
Yeah.
DMC.
Like Run DMC?
Sure.
Did he say DMC?
Yes.
Like the DeLorean Motor Company?
I was thinking of the group Run DMC. I was thinking of that one. The one that did Walk This Way.
Dave, can you text that and what that means?
Those are my initials.
Ah.
Oh!
Interesting. So you have a middle name then?
Manuel.
Ooh.
That's an interesting
interesting nickname. My middle name is Ella.
I do not wish at this time to speak what my middle name is.
Okay.
I know what it is, but I won't say.
Good. Don't
you better shush it, Bryce.
Wait.
You better.
Bryce, this is gonna.
I just said I wasn't gonna say. Relax.
Bryce, we've known each other for 10 years.
Trust me, you have a much better middle name than. Trust me, you have a much better middle name. God damn it, you have a much better middle name than I do. Trust and believe.
Speaking of which, what's your middle name again?
Listen to what mine is. Mine is Alexander. Mine's Alexander. I hate my middle name.
Alexander is a first name.
Wait a minute, Alexander. Hold on.
Yes, I hate
like Alexander Rossi.
Hold on.
Or Alexander Hamilton.
Yeah, your favorite IndyCar driver is Alexander Rossi.
I know. Funny how that works,
Rossi
right?
Is going to his car.
How many pennies is that now?
Dude's been in cars for years. That's nothing new. Rossi's been in cars for a year. That's nothing new.
That's like 3 more pennies.
Shut up.
Dave says he's
Oh, God. You know, Kyle Larson should not have won the Indy 500 Rookie of the Year. It should have gone to Christian Rasmussen. And guess what? The actual Christian Rasmussen liked my comment, and he probably agrees with me.
Goodness me.
Right?
You okay?
Right? Anyway, Dave, I'm sorry. I'm seeing the text in the room that you got to hop off soon. I'm guessing because of work.
Yes.
Can you be on for a few more minutes, if you don't mind? So with that being said, I'm gonna say this. So Dave, I want to hear your stances on this last thing. In your case, because I don't want to keep you on for too long, because again, you got work the following day. But back on the Formula One side of things, since you and I both are diehard F1 fans, we mentioned Aston Martin however many minutes ago. We have Adrian Newey on board with that team. Not only that, but with Esteban Ocon, he's going to Haas, joining Ollie Behrman. And I did hear, even from the YouTuber Audas, that Esteban Ocon is one of the worst drivers on the grid, if not arguably one of the worst in F1 period. But regarding Aston Martin first, do you believe now that they have Adrian Newey on board, do you see Aston Martin being a top tier team? Maybe not this year, but in a few years' time, especially with the new regs coming in 2026. Do you see that happening with Aston being a top tier team since they have Adrian on board?
They could, but they'll only have one driver extracting the most out of the car.
In Fernando Alonso.
Yes.
This dude,
he's a rookie.
oldest
Again.
on the damn grid, and he's still got what it takes. He's still kicking butt.
Yeah. And Fernando is still a rookie.
In his eyes. Even though, in reality, he was a rookie in 2001 at the age of 19.
Hey, that's almost my age. Because I have a birthday coming up in about 2 weeks from now. As a recording, it'll be I'll be 19 years old.
Now, regarding
He'll be 21 in August.
Regarding Esteban Ocon, Dave, with what I've mentioned, being one of the worst drivers from what I've seen and heard, being one of the worst drivers on the grid, if not F1 period, do you say the same thing? What the?
Well, finally decided
Welcome
to
in,
show
Brandon.
Well, Dave, back to what I was saying. Hold on, Brandon. Brandon, hold on. Dave, real quick. Do you also believe, from what I've seen from other people, that Esteban Ocon is one of the worst drivers on the grid, if not F1 period? Do you agree with those people that say that?
No, because we all agree that Lance Stroll is the worst.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I feel you.
But he's not a bad driver. He is the worst teammate you can have.
Calvin, you want to see what Watkins Glen looks like when it's pitch black?
No,
I didn't even talk.
we're in the middle of a podcast recording.
Well,
Oh.
this won't be on the this won't be shown because it's a podcast, but I don't even see it since I'm looking at the loading screen. Yeah, Brandon, I only see a loading screen on my end. I don't know about the never mind.
Slow down. You got a penalty for cutting the course. Car 4, set the fastest lap. 23.705.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Well, I don't know.
Here, hold on, let me reset.
Just set the fastest lap. 23.5.
You
Probably
guys
should end
somewhat
the screen
excited
share
for the new NASCAR game to come out in the fall?
Yes.
I'm not going to say much.
Even though I'm sucky at video games.
Cautiously optimistic, put it that way.
That's why I
Hey,
said
Bryce.
somewhat excited.
Bryce, what would your go-karting nickname be? We forgot to mention that.
I honestly have no idea, to be honest.
Well, it's a work in progress. Basically, it's a work in progress.
Probably maybe Reese's. I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, given you eat Reese,
I mean, that is your favorite
Brandon's
chocolate.
done.
Is obviously, as you guys already know, that is my definitive number one favorite chocolate to have. So I feel like it probably would be maybe what I'd go with. I don't know. It probably would be
Mine would be Hellcat or
if
Miata.
given the choice.
For me,
I'll tell you what, yeah, it'd be either Reese's or maybe, I don't know, Reese's or maybe, I don't know, maybe like Little B. I don't know.
Little E
That would be a
reference.
good one.
Little E reference.
Well, not Little E. It's more like a Willie B reference
Ah,
because one of Byron's nicknames is Willie B.
yeah.
You say Little B though.
I mean, I also could have, of course, gone with. I also could have gone with with Jimmy Jam, but
JJ.
I don't know. It doesn't really,
Jim Jam.
because obviously it's the Jimmy Johnson reference, Jimmy Jam.
Hi,
But
I'm Jimmy Johnson.
maybe.
Boom, confetti.
However, I just had another random thought.
Jimmy
I want mine
Legs.
to be Herbie.
Oh man, didn't they have Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon in that? I think they did.
Yes, they did.
Yes, they had him in Herbie Fully Loaded.
And
Or actually, I think I have another solid one I can think of.
Yeah.
McQueen.
Tanner
I don't
Thorson,
know.
Chili Bowl A-Maid Thursday winner.
I don't know.
just so you know why Dave left the room, he has work in the morning, so that's why he's not in the room anymore.
10-4, it's all good.
All right.
Everything's great.
Me, as far as my nickname is concerned,
Phoenix 2017.
as far as my
Just
nickname,
randomly put
Everything's honky dory.
as far as my
Everything's
nickname is
great.
concerned, my nickname would be the Iceman.
Terry Labonte reference.
And Kimi Räikkönen.
No, Kimi Räikkönen.
I would say that was gonna be
Taylor
Kimi
Bonnie's
Räikkönen.
Taylor Bonnie for the NASCAR side, and Kimi Räikkönen for the F1 side.
Yeah, no.
They don't talk much.
My
Makes
nickname.
sense.
I feel like my nickname should be Herbie.
Yeah, honey, you know that. Honey, you know this. I don't talk much.
Yeah. Yes, I know you damn well.
Exactly.
Or maybe the nickname could be Miata.
Well, with Saundra in it.
That would be amazing.
That's Saundra's nick. That is Saundra's nickname. What are you
Yes.
doing?
Every time I'm on the phone with Saundra, every time on the phone, you
calls me so much.
always bring up Miata, or show me a diecast of Miata, or show me a photo of a Miata, or show me a damn video of a Miata.
Yes.
What do you think I've had to deal with? She's a Miata girl, bruh.
Oh my god.
I mean, Jesus, I literally showed her a pic of a Miata sitting next to me on the street once.
But
literally, I remember when I was driving to go like Christmas shopping, I sent her a picture of a Miata, and she instantly was screaming at Miata.
dude, just saying that Sandra's a Miata fan is a massive understatement.
I freaking
Oh, trust me, I know.
love
I know.
Miatas.
It's her favorite car. I mean, can you blame her? No, not really.
They go wink wonk.
She loves the wink wonk.
You know what else is underrated? Have you seen this show on Sprout called Rory the Racing Car?
Yes, I have.
Oh man. Like, we should fit all the main characters and to see what their F1 personalities like.
Not sure.
Like, I already know
But
where Maxie is going. Maxie is Michael Schumacher. He has the attitude of him.
More so,
He knows yachts.
so I'd say.
So you say Maxie is Fernando.
Yes.
What incarnation?
What?
Beg to differ.
No, I thought Michael Schumacher had an attitude like that.
Not as much as Fernando, though.
Yeah, well, like, who would Rory be?
You. That's for damn sure.
Have the video of the wink wonks.
I was not saying that. I was not saying that. Like, what F1 driver would Rory be? Like, who would that person be? No. Like, Rory is like the up and comer. Like, I would probably say, like, this show came out, like, what year was it? 2007-ish?
around that time.
Like I would say like Lewis Hamilton would fit that one very well, considering he's an up and comer.
Yep. And from 2007 all the way up to fall of 2010.
Yep, that's Lewis Hamilton. Yep. That's Lewis Hamilton.
His early years for McLaren, anyway.
He wasn't like at least my go-kart wasn't heavier than a freaking boat.
Coincidentally enough, Maxie is based on a Formula One racing car.
Ooh.
Same with Rory, but the Ferrari from 1976. Funny enough, that
and who was Maxie again?
Was number one. Rory in the show, number one. Identical car.
Yes, he is.
What are we even talking about now?
Rory the racing car.
I don't think that's really.
Are you not? Okay, you are not a real Sproutman if you don't know Bob the Builder, Thomas and Friends, Angelina Ballerina, or Rory the racing car. Hands down.
We love Bob the Builder.
Yes. Can we fix it? No, we can't.
You know what, Kim?
That was a childhood favorite of mine.
What, Bob the Builder?
Yes.
Why did Mattel turn everything to shit? Why? Why did Mattel have to ruin everything? I know. Shut up. But Mattel ruined everything. It ruined Thomas. It ruined Bob the Builder. It ruined Angelina Ballerina.
You know,
oh my God.
You know why they did that, right? Simple. Merchandising. Money. That's why.
Yeah, but toys.
Mattel needs to take that money and stick it up its ass.
Exactly my point. But this is why I say
they got to make the big bucks somehow, right?
Albeit in a way where it won't please a lot of people. This is why I go back to the old day. Someone at a place that I work at, someone said that I'm an old soul as a person who likes old school stuff, and that's a fact. I am old school and an old soul, and quite
exactly.
Frankly, the classic stuff is where it's at. Modern day stuff. Yeah, sure, but at the same time, you see people complaining about what's new in this modern era, so that's why I say I'm sticking with the classic era all the way.
Yeah, exactly. So what you're saying is about
NASCAR, Formula One, freaking Mario even. Well, Mario, that's debated. Same for Sonic, but still, getting off track here. But still, my point being.
Well, speaking of, wait.
If y'all didn't.
Hang on. What was Maxie? Yeah, exactly. Wait, so what was Maxie based off of? What F1 car was Maxie based off of?
That I'm still scratching my head over. I gotta look at what Maxie looks like again, because it's been years.
Maxie has like the cool sunglasses. He was number 5.
No, but I'm talking about the design, his overall design.
It looks like a Jordan, but it's not.
The Jordan was yellow at the time. Well, from 97 to 2005, but still. But
I mean, we also have Dale Jarrett.
Well, NASCAR folk. Who we got for the Daytona 500? Who we got?
Bubba.
You were quick to say that, huh?
Wait, what did she say?
It is Bubba's turn to win a Daytona 500, okay?
You were quick as hell to say that.
My Daytona 500 pick, I want to go like creative and go out of the box.
Just Allgaier?
I'm not going to say Justin Allgaier. I don't think, and I'm saying this right now, Jimmy Johnson will DNQ for the Daytona 500. I'm calling it right now.
Oh my God, shut up. Shut up. You're going to jinx it. Stop.
However, did you guys hear that
I'm not. But like the last year that I said Jimmy not making the 500 was actually done by the producers. That was not done by me. It was done by the producers. They've written it in because my quote unquote dance mom is It's scripted. That argument between Bryce and I was scripted. With Yaley being in and Johnson being out was scripted.
However, did you guys see the news that Martin Truex Jr. is going to attempt the 500 again this year?
I've seen that.
Yeah. Cole Kern is the GOAT. He's the GOAT of crew chiefing. He's the GOAT.
Yeah, I beg to differ on that.
Yeah, I know.
He's the GOAT, and he's only won one championship with Truex in one off season.
Exactly why I say I beg to differ on that.
Let me wait. Hold on. Let me get that straight real quick. So Cole Pern's the GOAT of crew chiefing, and he's only got one chip under his belt, and only a few good seasons with Martin Truex Jr. Gotcha.
Honey, you got nothing to say about that?
Oh.
You got nothing to back that up?
I mean, well, guess what? I have a photo with him. He was so nice out of my day. He's the only crew chief that wears a freaking t-shirt. Not like the crew shirts that everybody else has. He's the only guy in the garage that wears a t-shirt. Not a crew shirt. Just like everybody else. That's why he's the GOAT.
As far as GOAT crew chiefs are concerned, I don't even have to say much. All I got to say is a few names. Dale Inman, Chad Knaus, Larry McReynolds. All I got to say. I ain't got to say much.
Gustafson could be
Alan Gustafson is nowhere close to being a GOAT crew chief either.
He could be hit or miss. Like, Chase needs a new crew chief.
Gustafson's a good crew. I feel like he gets too much slack from people. He's a good crew chief. He's not a bad crew chief by any means. He just doesn't have the best decision making sometimes. But he's not bad. I feel like especially Chase Elliott fans are too hard on him.
Pause. Maybe Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson could swap crew chiefs this year.
You think that's happening in a million years? Cliff Daniels goes to the 9 and Alan Gustafson goes to the 5 again? That's not happening.
He won't make sense.
Yeah, I doubt that's going to happen.
The point. Cliff Daniels won't make
That'll never happen.
I'm just saying it.
But then again, I'd always have thought that Jimmy Johnson and Chad Knaus would never split up, and they did.
I mean, things happen.
Yep.
But it was for the better anyway, because the two of them it was around like 2015 that like their relationship kind of got strained as driver and crew chief. I mean, literally Chad even questioned Jimmy in 2017 about like him, like Jimmy said it himself, but Chad actually had questioned like his ability to like really like, I guess like care about like the team around like before the 2017 season began. Or something like that. So like there was kind of cracks being formed, even though they were still good and competitive for the most part. But then obviously, as you could tell, they were kind of drawing back and forth on the radio a lot more as the years went on.
You knew it was the beginning of the end. But what I'm saying is like
still kills me to this day.
Elio Castroneves being in the Daytona 500.
Yeah, and then I also saw earlier too that they're guaranteeing a 41st car as well now. So I'm like,
hasn't it been a while since there's been like a 41st car?
Since 2015.
That
was the last
literally time. we haven't had a full size 43 car field since like the 2015 season.
Yeah.
10 years.
What if they did that next season?
So it's been a good little bit since we last had 43 cars. I would like to have that back, by the way, having 43 cars in the field again.
And you know how Elio won Dancing with the Stars in 2007? Like
I don't know much about that.
Yeah. He actually is like they have like pro dancers, and that's when celebrities have like pro dancers. And Elio won season 5. I believe he did. He beat a Spice Girl, Scary Spice, to win it.
I do know that Michael Waltrip was on it at one time.
Yeah, Elio was on it. He actually won the season. And I also put on the Trackhouse page on Instagram saying, can he teach drivers how to dance, though? And you know what the Trackhouse Project 91 said back? Yes. And the punishment, whoever finishes second in the Daytona 500 has to have a dance lesson from Elio.
interesting punishment, I'd say.
So,
I mean, he has won Dancing with the Stars, so
Sounds
it's not
about
out of the possibility.
Saundra, you mentioned about the NASCAR game that's coming out later this fall.
Yes.
Not gonna say much about it because given the recent history of a new developer coming in, regarding as far as the NASCAR spectrum is concerned, with the new developers coming in, given what we've seen these last 8 years, 9 years, or no, since 2011, I'm not saying much because the hype was there for NASCAR 2011. A lot of people don't like that. A lot of hype was there for NASCAR Evolution. A frick ton of people didn't like that. NASCAR 21 Ignition.
Me too.
That. A frick ton more people didn't like that. So that's why I say I'm not going to say much. And Bryce, you can probably agree with my stances. Given,
well, trust and believe, especially because I league race.
Dude,
especially because of the simple fact that I league race, and I'm telling you right now, I am so sick of the fact that we have been playing. You know, we have hit rock bottom. Excuse me. Sorry for that. No, you know, we have hit rock bottom when the simple fact that we have literally, we still are doing this. We are still sitting here playing NASCAR Heat 5, and this game came out 5 years ago. We are still playing the garbage. We are still playing this hot garbage video game. I literally told my league racing buddies recently that I legitimately cannot wait till this game comes out, and I hope to God that it is good, because if it is good and we race on 25, I am uninstalling Heat 5 and I am never touching it again.
Damn.
Like, I'm being serious too. I am never touching it again. Like, dude, do you want to know how many? Do you seriously want to know how many hours I have logged? I'm being serious. Do you really want to know how many hours I have logged onto this dog shit game?
That was it, by the way.
Yes, that's another penny. What sound is
like I literally shut up. I don't care about the damn penny shit.
That's no.
But anyway, do you want to know how many hours? Do you want to know? Do you want to know how many hours I have logged onto this crap game that I've been playing since it literally? I haven't played it since launch. Don't get it twisted. I bought it in August of 2020. By the way, I have bought it in August.
For me,
but
it was...
but basically, long story short, I have well over 1,000 hours on this game, and it is the one game on my PS4 that I have played the most out of any other game the last 5 years because of league races.
Wait,
really?
Are you?
You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. I have well over 1,000 hours on this game.
Dude, please tell me you're joking. There's no way.
I don't think he's joking.
No way.
I don't think he's joking at all.
I wish I was kidding you. I'm serious. I wish I was kidding. Do you know how many league races I have? Dude, and I literally am saying that because of the simple fact that I have run so many races in so many leagues in the last couple of years since this game has come out. And not to mention, I've also run races that have taken over the course of hours.
Oh, God.
And not to mention, there were also times, too, where we even had, that also goes into effect, too. Also, there were times, too, we've also had, to, delay races a little bit as far as, start time is concerned. And, wait maybe a good 10, 15, 20 minutes. That also adds on to the runtime. But, yeah, I've run so many races since this game has come out in 2020. And it is literally the one game that I have played the absolute... And it's obviously not by choice. Literally because I league race. That's the only reason I even touch this game. I don't ever go and play it casually. I don't ever go and just play it for fun. If I'm going to play a NASCAR game for fun, I'm going back and playing any of the good Technics games, or I'm going back and playing the EA games. I'm not touching the Heat games. So once 25 comes out and it's good, I am never touching a NASCAR Heat game ever again.
So you're never touching NASCAR Heat?
I want to forget it.
I'm hoping that this new game.
I'm being serious.
If it is, I'll buy it. If not, well, I don't want it.
I want
3-2 Evolution.
I want so bad to be able to be done.
Wait a minute.
No.
Wait a minute.
Dude, I am not even kidding when I say I am not touching them ever again. I'm not touching them.
Hold on.
Just not.
Or you can come over and play F1 games.
You say the Heat games. What about the older Heat games? 2002, Dirt to Daytona. Dirt to Daytona is a Heat game.
Oh, I would love to.
Now, Dirt to Daytona is a good game.
If I had the chance to play
Dirt
Dirt to Daytona again, I so would.
Bryce, I don't think we race each other on that game as of yet. Yeah, we haven't. We haven't.
No, but obviously I own it. But obviously, of course, as you've seen, I do own the game.
As have I. I've owned the game for 10 years now. I haven't touched it in God knows how long. But still, a classic.
It's not my favorite, but it is solid.
But
it is solid for what it is. 2002 is all right. It's not bad. It's okay.
Wait, do you play for the PlayStation 2 or the Xbox? Excuse me.
PS2.
How is it?
It's okay. I feel like those games are all right. The one thing I hate about those games, especially even on Dirt to Daytona, I mean, I don't know if I can like really do it now. I might see if I can do it again, but I can't change the freaking control scheme. I have to use the square and the X buttons. I mean, of course, for me when I was younger me wouldn't have minded that because I always, especially when I was little, when I played racing games, I always used the square and X buttons to accelerate and brake. But because I've been so used to using the back triggers, it is such a hassle for me to have to run a long race, literally just pressing my thumb against the X button and the square button the entire time. It wears out my thumb, especially if it's a long race.
You'll get used to that. You'll get used to that. It
just gets really irritating. But then again, I have also raced some of the other games that we've done as well with that as well. But still, same thing there. That wears out my freaking fingers.
For a fact, the original NASCAR for the PS1, you are never touching that again. That's for damn sure.
You already know my stance on that game. I'm not saying it here. You already know how I feel about that game.
Dude, I'm pretty sure last year you mentioned it in one of the episodes. Yeah, you did. You did.
And you already know what I scored. And you already know what it is I scored that game too, so I don't even have to say it.
You don't even, because especially recalling your gameplay experience 5 years ago.
The only thing I can say is you have the
but
you have the video.
You did win a race.
You can look after that.
You did win a race, at least. But even so, you're not touching it. You're not touching it ever again.
Nope.
But the only gripe that I have with Dutch Daytona,
you'll never touch it for as long as you live.
The only gripe I have with Dutch Daytona, Jimmy Johnson's not in the game. More than likely because of copyright.
I know. That disappointed me.
But at least he's in NASCAR Thunder 2003. I can't speak for the life of me.
Yeah, neither can I.
That's another reason why I'm a quiet person. But still, at least Jimmy Johnson's on NASCAR Thunder 2003 and NASCAR Racing 2002. So there's that, at least. I also remember the fact that it took you, I don't know how many races for you to get your maiden win on that game. Wait a minute. Did you play NASCAR Thunder 2003 on your own time without the assist, or you're still struggling with that?
I haven't touched the game in a while, so I can't really say.
Yeah, and I'm also hearing now, today it's been announced that Carl Long's MPM Motorsports is going to rebrand to Garage 66.
Oh, I've heard about that too.
Like, what's it with all these garage names?
Like, we already have Tricon Garage. Why do we need another?
Maybe one's the good garage and the other is the garage.
It's a penny.
Again.
Stop.
That's another one.
Stop. I said it's been mostly between us and Bryce have been cussing.
You realize that me and Saundra haven't cursed not one time in this recording.
For me.
I mean, Tricon's the good one, and then Garage 66 is the bad one. In the words of Professor M, oh dear, it's happened again.
If y'all seen Tuned, if you know, you know. But if you don't know, watch Tuned.
Watch Tuned, come back to this video.
You mean podcast?
Exactly.
Yes, I keep forgetting.
Oh.
We've been doing this for...
I meant to ask...
2 hours.
No surprise. Not sure this is going to go down as the longest podcast episode, though. But still, given Bryce's profile, I also wanted to touch on Bryce, your stances on Justin Allgaier winning the Xfinity Series championship and your expectations on Justin Allgaier's performance heading into the 2025 Xfinity Series season. This also goes to you both, Honey and Saundra. That also applies to you both. But Bryce, starting with you, since, again, considering your profile on Discord, your thoughts on Justin Allgaier winning the championship a few months ago?
Well, obviously, I'm sure probably a lot of people already had seen my reaction. Probably, if you follow me on Instagram, you probably did see my reaction to that. If I did, I think I did post it there. I believe I did.
You did.
But obviously, as you guys can tell, especially even from just even the profile picture, I still have not gotten the shirt or the hat yet. I will eventually. But long story short, that win, I'm going to tell you that much. Legitimately, it just, oh my God. It was literally one of the greatest moments, I think, probably of my life in the last couple years, I guess. Definitely one of, not the best, but definitely one of, for sure. And especially as someone who's a lifelong Allgaier fan, it meant so much. It really did. It meant so, and not to mention too, it meant that much more because of the simple fact that Allgaier in this one race really did try to throw this away multiple times in this one race. He really about threw the championship away several times and was still able to come away with it at the end of the weekend. And especially after going through so much during that time period around, not like the middle of November, but mainly around like from September through those last couple months of 2024, that was definitely one of the last couple moments of 2024 that was absolutely just amazing. And of course, obviously, it made up for what would happen a day later with Byron not winning the championship and just fumbling the bag again for the second time. But
We're going to talk about that, but keep going.
other than that, though, that was definitely the best moment for me as far as championship weekend was concerned, for sure. But it really did just mean that much, considering the fact that Allgaier literally has been that guy that has just had almost every single misfortune happen, I feel like, in the last number of years, pretty much ever since his career started. And to finally, not to mention the fact that he was so long overdue for a championship, and he finally ended up getting it. It just meant that much more. So, yeah, it's cool. It's awesome. It's really just so cool that the fact that he was able to do that. But as far as 2025 is concerned, I'm not expecting him to repeat by any means, because I do feel like even if he just goes out with just one, I feel like that is more than enough. But it would be cool to see him go out and get another. He'll still be competitive for, I feel like, a good couple more years to come. I mean, he could literally, if he wants to, he could retire tomorrow after the fact that he's finally got that, championship monkey off his back. So, I mean, he could retire tomorrow if he really wanted to. But even if he retires for just one championship, I think he'd be satisfied, because I feel like at this point, he, for the most part, has won everything it is he's ever wanted to win in Xfinity at this point. So, yeah, but that's really, being the Allgaier fan that I am and being a massive fan of his for so long, it really did mean that much just to win that championship. And getting the chance to actually watch him do it, especially in the way that he won it, that was amazing. That's, I guess, my thoughts on that.
Okay. Yeah, we were on call. We were on call for this. Remember?
You were literally losing your mind when Allgaier crossed that line.
I was. When Allgaier crossed that line, I was like, woo! I was probably screaming.
Saying that would be a massive understatement.
I mean, if I was a Cole Custer fan, I'd probably be screaming for the wrong reasons.
Exactly.
And Allgaier, I don't think he's going to go back to back. I really don't think that's going to happen. I mean, we have lots of great rookies coming up, some of them undeserving than others. And looking at you, Taylor Gray and Christian Eckes. Please behave yourselves. Please and thank you. From Miss Jess. You're welcome. Yeah. I mean, and unfortunately, I'm very sorry about what happened to Blaney. Cause that video I did, I was actually really crying. Cause I felt so bad for Blaney. Oh. This feels as heartbreaking as Truex losing the 2021 championship to Larson. That feels a lot worse. Oh my goodness. I do not want to go back to those days. And I do not want to go, you know what else I don't want to go back to? My days of hating Logano. I do not want to go back to those.
I do want to touch on Logano in his third championship, but Saundra, I want to hear your take on Allgaier winning the Xfinity championship a few months ago. I want to hear your take on that first.
I don't remember what I watched the race or not. I'm sitting here thinking if I watched it or not, but I feel incredibly happy that he won it, after so many attempts, he finally got it, and I'm really proud of him for it, You don't usually, it takes a while to get there to win that championship, and he did it. And I'm hella proud that Allgaier got that championship.
Now, as far as the Cup Series champion is concerned, I've seen a lot of people who despise that Logano won the third championship. A lot of people despise that moment. I've seen a lot of people despise Logano winning a third, let alone a second, let alone his first. And given his average finish, yeah. I've seen a lot of people say that Logano's championship is arguably the worst one as far as average finish is concerned. Because his average finish was 15.7?
Yes!
It wasn't even 15.7. It actually ended up being, from what I can remember, I mean, I could be wrong, but it ended up being like 17.3.
Oh,
So it is the worst. It's statistically Joey Logano's 2024, and not his other two. His other two are fine. Like, here's the thing. I know, at least for me, I can make an argument with you that I feel like his first two championships he rightfully earned. He earned those. He deserves those. His third, on the other hand, we all can collectively sit here and agree, whether you like Logano or not, he did not deserve the 2024 Cup Series championship. Didn't even deserve to even come close to the Final Four at all, period.
Yeah,
exactly. Shouldn't even have been there. Not to mention, he shouldn't even have been in the fucking playoffs to begin with.
God.
I can agree.
Yeah. I don't want to sit here and I don't want to sit here and bullshit on this for a lot longer.
By the way,
the fact that he even made the damn playoffs in the first freaking place was the stupidest ever.
Exactly. Yeah, the reason why he was in there because Alex Bowman was excluded at the Charlotte Roval event.
They ain't even just that. That's part of it. It's all because Austin Cindric and all the stupid idiots at Nashville couldn't keep it green for more than 10 seconds. You guys literally robbed us of letting Chastain or Hamlin get it done. Because here's the thing. Literally, if Hamlin or Chastain wins that race, if Hamlin or Chastain win that race at Nashville, we aren't talking about Logano winning a third championship. We're not talking about that, period. But because of several factors, because Austin Cindric, like the dumbass he is, decides to wreck late in the race and spin himself out, and not even just that, literally, these idiots can't keep it green and can't race with their head on straight for more than 5 damn overtimes. That's why it happened! Because the overtime rule is the stupidest thing in NASCAR!
Exactly. I agree. They should have at least 2 attempts to do it.
There needs to be 2 attempts or 1, and that is that.
They should have.
We need to have a 2015 Talladega scenario. 1 attempt. That's it.
Or
we should have.
Excuse me, sir. Pisses me off sometimes, honestly.
Or end under caution. End under caution.
I'm friends with
and I know people aren't a fan of that ending under caution, but I can't even, I couldn't agree more. Some races, unfortunately, guys, you gotta end under caution. I'm sorry. Like you need to end some under caution.
At this point, if the overtime or the green white checker rule, as I call it, because again, I'm an old soul, at this point, if they overdo the green white checker rules and the green white checker attempts, you might as well just scrap that and just end the damn race under caution. Problem solved.
They need to, because we've seen this. The drivers cannot handle it.
No, I don't have to play track. No.
Anyway,
Just in general, period. We've seen this. The drivers, it doesn't matter where. It don't matter where it is when it comes to overtime. The drivers have shown you time and time again, not even just recent in the last couple of years. I'm talking about all throughout the 2010s. The drivers have literally shown, especially since years like 2014, 2015, 16, etc., they can't handle it.
No,
they cannot handle having unlimited attempts. It needs to be 1 or 2 attempts. If not, to me, the max is 2 attempts, and that is it. If you cannot get it after 2 attempts, then that is it. The race ends under yellow. Whoever's out front is the race winner. That is it.
Exactly.
Because these guys have and not even just in Cup, it's everywhere across the damn sport. The drivers can't handle it. They've shown this. But NASCAR won't budge because NASCAR, the guys that run it, are a bunch of morons. All of them.
What?
Because Steve Phelps and Steve O'Donnell are a bunch of jellyfish.
And delusional, too. Because you know how people keep saying
literally
that the playoffs or
one of them
make changes to the chase. Steve O'Donnell and people who run higher up in NASCAR, they think the chase format in this current chase bracket system, they think it's the greatest thing in the world.
Oh, I hate it.
No,
I hate the way these playoffs are.
No, it's not.
It rewards the most deserving drivers at the end of the season. Then explain Logano's 2024 championship run. If it rewards the most, the most rewarding drivers, then
Liberty Media needs to run NASCAR. I want the guys who own F1 need to run NASCAR.
That NASCAR themselves called out us fans when we criticized. NASCAR had the audacity to say that us fans are bots.
Mom and Dad, I'm sorry if I woke you up.
It's the NASCAR sanctioning body. What do you expect? The NASCAR sanctioning body, since its inception, have been doing this since the 1940s, dude.
At this point,
it's the France family. The France family needs to. All I'm going to say, I'm just going to say it now. And I don't even care if it gets me in trouble for saying it.
You might as well put delusional France family in that. Seriously.
I don't even care if it gets me in trouble. I don't even care if it gets me in trouble saying it.
On NASCAR. So it's the same guys that run.
And you think that they do better? And you think that they would do a better job? All I'm going to sit here and tell you is, this sport will be way better once everyone in the France family is dead. I said it.
Or fired, which is not happening.
Once they dead, trust me, they're never going to get fired. They run the sport with an iron fist. I mean, you literally see what's been going on with the lawsuit for 2311 in front row for the longest. Why do you think that is? Oh, yeah, NASCAR, the sanctioning body, and the France family, because they're a bunch of greedy hacks.
You think? You think?
And they've been greedy since the 1940s. I mean, think of it this way. You know the France family has some shit going when literally way back in the day, even Bill France Sr., the head honcho, the guy that founded the sport, literally told one of his guys that was complaining and talking about the fact that literally they're out there risking their butts out there on shredded tires at Talladega Super Speedway. Oh, I think you're just too scared to race.
Are you serious right now? That's ridiculous.
In response, I believe Leroy Yarbrough was the one. It was either Leroy or Bobby Allison, one of those two that literally straight up punched Bill France in response.
Yeah, literally Bobby Allison literally remembered that he stepped out, punched him in the face, and told him, "Back it up, pack up your shit. We're leaving. We out of here. We're not staying for this." And can you blame them?
More than half.
Can you blame them? You can't. They're literally out there on tires are getting shredded like a damn cheese grater.
More than half the grid pulled out.
On probably the fastest track on the circuit.
And arguably the most.
At that point, now Talladega is the fastest track on the circuit.
Arguably the most.
So it's like, think of it that way.
They're like, yeah, I don't care. And they had to have a bunch of field fillers pull out the thing. And they don't even know who won the race.
Dude. This past Talladega race, we had the biggest big one in the sport's history. Apparently.
That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
There was 28 cars involved in this one. What is
Tell
to be believed? The
Eccleston ran NASCAR. What would he do?
In that massive crash. And I thought the 2002 Aaron 499 was the biggest crash in NASCAR history. or the 2003.
Hey, Pete Bubba driving backwards in that race, that was hilarious.
Bryce, what would happen if Bernie Eccleston or the people at Liberty Media that run F1 ran NASCAR? What would they do?
I don't know.
You think they're going to make it better? They're going to make it worse. Would you really trust them to run our sport? They make it worse. Tell you the truth, NASCAR's already in a bad spot as it is. Exactly. Tell you the truth, they make it even worse than what it is. They make it to the They would make it to the point where the sport doesn't even exist anymore.
Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! So, what do you think's gonna happen? What would Bernie Eccleston do?
I mean, if you think of it this way, I mean, he's the idiot that really thought that, oh yeah, let's run, in Indianapolis, and in 2005, that's the worst F1 race that has ever happened by far, and the FIA chooses to flex their muscle because they're the FIA, of course. Trust me, if they were literally in charge, we're going somewhere like, I don't know, we're going to a track of like, I don't know, like something weird or something like that, or we're going somewhere that just is like not up to snuff, and it's going to be one of the worst tracks in history of the sport, and it's going to kill the sport entirely. Like, trust me, they would not fare any better. Trust and believe.
No. Like, what would they do to the playoffs? What would the people that run Formula One do to the playoffs? What will they do? They're going to trash it.
Because the only thing I can sit here and tell you is that they make it way, way worse. Tell you what, as far as the package is concerned, they probably bring one that makes it so you can only make overtakes on like the straightaways. You can't make overtakes or passes in the corners.
In the turns. In the corners.
Seeing as how you can barely make overtakes even in F1 with the freaking DRS. Actually, you know what? Tell you the truth. Think of it this way: the fact that we have DRS right now in F1, they probably put that in NASCAR.
Well,
and we all know how much of a flop DRS is in F1. They don't do anything.
No. Now, imagine if NASCAR did standing starts. Oh my God, what would happen?
That would be chaotic.
All I'm gonna say is overtime. Anyone?
Yeah.
No.
100 overtimes. That is.
I mean, did you see what was it? Australia 2023? Did you see how that overtime went and how embarrassing that was?
No.
You literally said it yourself.
I didn't watch F1 in 23. You got to remember that.
Well, I'll just make it short and sweet. Literally at the end of that race, literally this was after Coda too, I believe, or was it? Yeah, it was after Coda. I think there was, what was it, like a week after Coda? I think it was. But long story short, just like how Coda was at the end of that race, 2023, where everybody just chose to wreck and just constantly have all these, just overtimes over and over and over again. They just could not keep it green for more than like half a lap. Literally, they did the exact same thing with less than like 2.5 laps to go, and it basically gave Verstappen the win. They all went to that corner, and they all chose to wreck and handed Verstappen the W. They all wrecked themselves. Literally, the Alpines wrecked themselves. I think Fernando, got spun or whatever. Like, yeah, they were just wrecking all over the place.
And the two Alpine cars crashed out.
They literally wrecked themselves. Literally, the two of them wrecked themselves.
But my point.
Yeah. Well, once I watched that, I was like, oh, yeah. Tell you the truth, I don't even feel bad anymore. Now knowing that NASCAR is not the only one that has this problem.
F1
it's a current day, modern day racing problem. Lack of respect.
So basically, if NASCAR did lights out, like, what would happen on the opening lap?
Well, trust and believe. Tell you the truth, we all know how much of a lack of respect is given in racing, especially in NASCAR nowadays. Everyone, especially going into the first turn, is going to clobber each other. That's what's going to happen. We'd be lucky if we don't see another Knoxville 2021 pile up. Because remember in Knoxville 2021 in that truck race where there was like so many overtimes, and at one point pretty much everybody on the restart it literally was like an online heat lobby where everyone was wrecking each other and everyone was all stacking up, all wrecking into each other. It was like a NASCAR Heat 5 lobby.
I didn't watch the trucks in 21, so
Yeah.
I didn't watch the race, but I saw that highlight and I was like, dude, that looks like an entire NASCAR Heat 5. That's like if some random dude jumped in these cars from NASCAR Heat 5 and just ran these things. They all look like just random NPCs all just stacking up on top of each other. It was embarrassing.
It's like
Twitter that night was fiery, by the way, too. Twitter was very fiery that night. Very, very fiery.
It's lights out and away we crash.
Literally every single driver was all saying all these awful things about how awful the race. I mean, even some of the veteran truck drivers were saying how awful it was.
Oh boy.
To put it in context for like for anyone to understand, basically take the Phoenix championship race from the trucks in 2023 and just basically copy and paste that onto Knoxville 2021. That's exactly what you got.
So how are they going to do this?
Basically, literally, and the crazy part is that Knoxville race didn't even start like that, from what I remember. The heats weren't that bad, and some of the racing wasn't too bad, but especially once you got late in the race, that's when all the shenanigans happened.
Yeah, and thank God Connor Jones is not returning to ThorSport next year.
Are you still not going to watch every race of the Truck Series this year, dude?
Dude, I said it then, and I'm still saying it now. I stand by it as well. I will not watch a single truck race until I hear from legitimately, I would say, drivers and the fan base itself that the Truck Series is actually worth my time. Because literally, the Truck Series is not worth my time. I will stick to watching Cup and Xfinity. Thank you very much. I am not watching the trucks. It is not worth my time.
Truck Series is a bunch of whiny little who have money.
That's a penny again.
Like, literally, it's all it is a bunch of just punk kids like a Connor Jones that literally get in here. They don't even have a driver's license, some of them, or they literally aren't even old enough to even drink yet. Like, literally, some of these kids they're not even old enough to drink yet. And here they are driving a freaking, like, well over, like, I don't even know, like, 3,500 pound freaking, stock truck, so to say, because it's not a stock car. So I have to say that. They're like, they're over here driving a freaking stock truck over here that weighs way more than they do. And literally they have the maturity of a 2-year-old, and they legitimately just get in here, and someone races them for more than a lap. Oh my God, they're racing me! Oh my God, why are you racing me so hard? Oh my God, it's all year. He's been blocking me. He's racing me so hard.
God, just shut the fuck up,
Penny.
Like, literally, if like all I'm gonna say to that literally is, shut the hell up, drive the damn truck, and actually grow a pair of balls. You are in here driving with some of the best guys. Well, I can't even say that. That's a stretch. You are literally in here driving in what is supposed to be one of the top 3 series in NASCAR, and you make it look like an absolute joke. And it's been a joke for years.
Exactly. Again, this is why I say would you hold on?
Calvin,
would you rather watch the Truck Series race from the archives?
What is it?
Would you rather watch the Truck Series race from the archives, 2010 and earlier years?
Dude, if I'm going to watch a truck race, I'm going back and I'm watching races from, like, let's say, go back and watch races from, like, 2017 and backwards. Because at least in, like, years like even 2018, I can go back to those years, like 2010s at least. And the trucks were way more respectable. Even, of course, they had their moments, yeah. But the trucks, and not to mention, the reason why the trucks were so good for a long time, too, is because you had a lot of veterans. You had a ton of veterans. Even if they were Cup guys, they were still veterans. And not to mention, if no one knows this, I mean, of course, for anybody new, the Truck Series back in the day, the thing, some people might not even know this, but back in the day, even like before the 2010s, around like the 2000s, even like the 90s, the Truck Series was mainly a stable that basically housed just veterans. There were no young guys that were in here. It was all just a bunch of veterans. That's all that it was. It was nothing but veterans. And not to mention, the way the scheduling is for the trucks nowadays, it used to not be like that. Back in the day, it was really nothing but just a bunch of short track racing. That's what the truck was built off of. It was mainly just built off of just short track racing back in the day. But I guess because they felt like they needed to appeal to, like, I don't know, like much more brighter audiences or whatever, they then ended up making it, what it is now, where they go everywhere. Restrictor plates, short tracks, mile and a half, intermediates, etc., road courses. But back in the day, it was mainly just short track racing back in the day. And that's what I feel like it should be, instead of what it is here, where it's just a regular, boring, drawn-out season. I don't know.
So what I'm saying is also, like, I can actually drive a truck better than some of these drivers out there. I'd probably be pretty good.
Trust me, I'm one of those that tries to avoid saying I can sit here and do better, especially without having any experience. Because, think of it this way. We could say that, but look, you and I, none of us have actually sat in the truck. Look, some of these cats in here, they're like 20, 25, and like someone 18, 19 years old. Look at me. I'm 25 years old. Are you seriously going to sit here and tell me that you would actually trust me for someone who has no experience in a race truck, getting in there and competing with these guys? You seriously trust me driving those things right now? I don't think so.
Let alone an Xfinity or a Cup car.
At least not right now.
Wait, Bryce.
Especially a Cup car with the next gen. You seriously trust me driving those things at 200 miles an hour? I don't think so.
Especially considering the fact that this generation of the Cup cars are very fragile.
Not even just fragile. It's also the simple fact too that they oh my God. Look, I don't hate the next gen. I'm just gonna point that out right now. I do not hate the next gen. For the most part, I like the next gen. But this car has a lot of problems. It has a lot of problems,
dude.
The Xfinity series has 18-year-olds, right? But the Xfinity series is for more mature
The Xfinity series
drivers.
has the best car. It's got the best car,
and it has the most
literally the Gen
drivers
7
out of there, right?
Well, that's debatable.
We have 18-year-olds coming up.
Because I feel like that's debatable too. Because even in Xfinity, you have guys like you have guys in there like a Jesse Love. So that's debatable.
Jesse Love. Oh my God, Austin Hill is a big idiot.
And you still have Austin Queso in here too. You still have him. So there's that.
God. And Matt Crafton needs to retire.
We will not take Matt Crafton slander.
I'm saying he's been there since 2000.
But don't get me wrong. It's like, look, like I said before, I don't watch the truck. I've always been a big Matt Crafton fan, but I haven't actually sat there and watched a race in a long time, so I really just don't care anymore what happens with him anymore.
But it's actually midnight on the East Coast.
But I do feel Matt Crafton is literally one of the most disrespected champions I feel like I've ever seen in my entire life. The guy didn't just win 3 championships, for no reason. The guy won them because he actually is a solid driver. Heck, even in that season that he won that 3rd with no wins, he still went out and ran decently consistent.
Exposed the system.
He did expose the playoffs. He did expose the playoffs. That is very true. He did expose the playoffs that year.
I'm laughing because
with him doing that, but it's like that's
0 wins. 0.
Didn't even win any races, still won the championship. But that just goes to show you that even your consistency still matters. So I feel like, I really feel like there's people out there that sit there and say that consistency doesn't matter anymore. If someone like that can win a championship with no wins, I would say consistency still does matter. Not to mention, look at Ryan Newman in 2014. He didn't win any races, but still made the Final Four. Questionably, might I add you, but he still made the Final Four and almost won the championship that year.
And people say regarding Ryan Newman as well, 2003, when he won 8 races, yeah, he was consistent, but Matt Kenseth was a tad bit more consistent. Hence why he finished with the Winston Cup trophy at the end of the season, Matt Kenseth. Ryan Newman still finished in the top 10, but at the same time, when he wasn't winning, Matt Kenseth was there to pick up the spoils. Because of it, he was a champion. He won it outright.
And that's the thing, too, that makes me so mad when it comes to, the fan aspect, because there are literally people that sit here and,
with Jeff Gordon,
they really sat here and got so upset because of the simple fact that, the guy with the I feel like one massive complaint, not from everybody, but there's a massive complaint that I feel like I hear, especially back in the day, that, the guy with the most wins is the one that should win the championship. And then what makes me mad as a fan, as far as this format is concerned, you got that. You ended up getting that, where I feel like wins especially mean much more now than anything. And there are literally people that literally are like, oh my God, I hate this. Oh my God, I hate the fact that this is like it's a winner take all thing. But I'm like, some of you guys, not all, but there are some that really wanted wins to mean everything, and now it does, and now you don't like it. Just doesn't add up. It just doesn't make any sense. And trust me, I never have been like a playoff apologist. I never ever wanted to come off as that. The only reason I've ever defended the playoffs as much as I have is because for the most part, I do like the format and what it is. And there are some good aspects to the format. I've never outright said it's perfect. I mean, you can fact check me on that. I've never once in any of the podcasts that we've ever done have ever said this format is perfect. It's trust and believe. It has a ton of flaws. It's got its flaws. But I feel like there are just some people that have always made it out to be like even worse than what it is. But trust and believe. Oh yeah, it's got flaws and it has stuff that I don't like. And I mean, everybody knows the number one thing that I don't like is winning you're in. The fact that I'll narrow it down. There are several things about the playoff format currently that we have that I do not like. Number one, the winning you're in. Number two, I do not like the winner take all championship anymore. I liked it at first when it first came about, but nowadays I'm going to be real with you. The last couple of years, I do not like the fact that the championship comes down to one race. I don't like it. I do not like it. The fact that the championship comes down to literally one race and it's just whoever finishes ahead of your other three competitors is your champion. I don't like that. I don't like it. And it shouldn't be that. I made like a good compromise. I know there's a few. I think I told you guys about this. My compromise for what I would do as far as even like, especially if we were to keep the elimination style, if I had it my way, I would just do it. Even if you want to do the top 16, whatever, but I feel like just do the top 10 in points are the ones that make it into the chase, they're like into the playoffs. And not to mention, I hate the fact that it's called the playoffs. I wish it was still called the chase. The chase is a much better name for this.
Same.
But
I agree with you on that.
Side tangent aside, though, because the chase is just such a much better name. Calling it the playoffs makes it just generic and boring. It makes it literally just so generic, and it's the exact same thing that every other sport calls it. Calling it the chase makes it so much better.
We've seen it in hockey. We've seen it in the MLB. We've seen it in the NBA. We've seen it in the NFL, especially. Why is it in NASCAR?
It's in every sport possible. Why do we got to call it the playoffs? It doesn't make any sense. Just kept it just as a chase.
You know why?
Whatever. But anyways,
right? You know why they call it that?
Because
it's obvious why. It's
bracket system.
Yeah, it's because Sprint. Yeah, because the bracket system, and also because of the fact that, not to mention, also Sprint was leaving, so they couldn't really call it like the chase for the Sprint Cup anymore, because obviously that wouldn't work. But I still call it the chase because that's what I've always known. That's what I've known for the longest. That's what, not to mention, I mean, not just myself. I mean, Calvin, you were with me on this too. That's what you and I, especially, that's what we grew up with. We grew up with it being called the Nextel chase for the Cup, yes, or the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. We grew up with that. That's what we grew up with.
Yes, we did.
Years.
Yes, we did.
But side tangent aside, getting sidetracked. I would just have it be the way we used to have pre-2014, before the elimination style bracket. Just have it be just 10 chase races, and everyone still is in the chase from those 10 races. Or even if you want to do, or not to mention, even if you don't want to do just top 10, you can have those two extra wildcard spots where it's 11th and 12th, like we did before that. Like after Richmond 2013, where it's just the top 12, where you have the top 10 make it, then you have two wildcard spots on 11th and 12th, and there aren't any eliminations. It's just straight up 10 races on points to decide your champion. Whoever has the most points at the end of the 10 chase races is your champion. That's how I would do it. There isn't a winner take all. There isn't elimination style bracket format where there's eliminations and stuff like that. It's just strictly just 10 races. Whoever wins it with whoever has the most points is your champion, and just do it that way. That's how I would do it.
Like how it was when the chase first was brought on board.
It just makes more sense to me.
It did 20 years ago, so I say you bring that back. But we know damn well NASCAR's not going to bring that back. Back on the 2024 championship, Bryce, like you said, Logano with the average finish of a 17 in the 17 range, excluding Joey Hand. As far as the full-time runners is concerned, Chase Elliott has the highest average finish of an 11.7. With one win, which was Texas in the spring, along with 11 top fives and 19 top 10 finishes. Christopher Bell with 3 wins, 15 top 5s, as well as 23 top 10s, the most top 10s out of anyone else, with an average finish over 12.8. Kyle Larson, the most wins with 6, along with 15 top 5s, 18 top 10s, and an average finish over 12.9. As far as Tyler Reddick is concerned, 3 wins, 12 top 5s, 21 top 10 finishes, and a 13.2 average finish. Joey Logano, on the other hand, 4 wins, 7 top 5s, 13 top 10s, and a 17.1 average finish. And yet, he's a champion.
So, yeah. See the problem with that?
Regarding the average finish, yes, I do.
And it's not even just the fact that it's not even just a simple fact that it's having just like the worst average finish either. It's also just the simple fact that for more than half of the season, he wasn't even good.
No.
He was. If you watch closely, and I watched it closely, he wasn't good.
Mm-mm.
Even after he won Nashville, he still wasn't good.
Before and after Nashville, actually.
Like, his 2024 season it was not good. And yet, here he is, literally as a 3-time champion in a season where he didn't even need to be close to even a championship.
It's funny to me that Alex Bowman had a higher average finish than Logano. Despite 1 win, 8 top 5s, and 17 top 10s, as far as Alex Bowman is concerned, Bowman's average finish of 14.8.
Definitely not the greatest, but definitely better than Logano's, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even Bowman, who was excluded after the Charlotte Roval, higher average finish. That should tell you something.
Should tell you a lot.
You know how I went from screaming and yelling to now just being quiet and tired? Well, I don't know about
yeah, it's like midnight as we speak.
It's past midnight, actually. Well,
it is past midnight, yes.
I'm muted. Saundra, if you're still there, unmute yourself and say something.
Well, for her, it's 11:12. 1 hour.
I'm here.
I don't know how the hell it went from yelling and shouting and screaming to just calm. It's so nice.
Mainly from you.
I don't know why it's from me. I don't know why.
Maybe because you're Pinkie Pie in a nutshell?
Come on, Friendship is Magic is such a goated show.
It's Thomas and Friends in my book.
I mean, Friendship is Magic has a lot of like bronies. They have a lot of bronies. It's the worst feeling in the world. Can we wrap this up?
Given the fact that it sounds like you're tired, yeah, I wonder why after all that yelling and screaming. Yes, we can. And giggling.
Thank God.
I'm going to sense.
I'm so tired right now.
Wait, what?
I'm so tired right now. It's not even funny.
Yes, it is. Because you went from super hyper to now super tired.
Shut up.
You know it's a fact.
I know.
It's a fact.
I know. All right.
You're struggling to stay awake, aren't you?
Let's wrap this up. Yes, I am. I am so tired right now. It's not even funny. It's almost the closest to the latest I've been up without it being a school night.
How do you not have a headache from yelling and screaming?
I don't know, because I don't yell and scream as much.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Come on. I curse under my helmet. I do curse under my helmet. I do. I can admit it right now.
That and the fact that you yell and scream and all that every day. Again,
exactly.
I have a headache from that?
I don't know. It's because, like, I usually take it. I'm a little bit more calmer than some of the other situations.
Well, we all do know racing is very intense, obviously. So, of course.
Racing is very intense. That's why I made a reality show out of it.
especially because us drivers, obviously, of course, if you've been there,
Everyone
obviously
just
we
shut
have been.
up.
It's very intense, obviously, of course, and we're in a high stress situation, so we're gonna say things that aren't PG.
I know, it's really
on the
crazy.
NASCAR
Everybody on Discord, shut up.
particularly on the NASCAR spectrum, look at tracks like Daytona, Talladega, and most recently Atlanta. Also, others like Michigan, Indianapolis. That's debatable, but most of the bigger tracks.
Fuck Indy.
What?
Fuck Indianapolis.
To your point. Wait, you're talking about the oval, the rectangle configuration, or the road course, or both?
Just Indy in general, dude. Now, of course, when I'm talking about that, I'm talking about as far as NASCAR is concerned, not Indy.
So you're saying NASCAR needs to kick Indy to the curb completely?
They've needed to do that. They have needed to do that for years. I am so sick. I really hope I'm not the only one in this boat. I probably am, but I don't care. I am so sick of just watching races at Indy. I'm so sick of it.
Then what's the point? What's the point?
Don't watch them.
There is none. There is no point. Just stop going. Just please stop. Literally, everyone and their mother, the last several years, were just literally, they were all, you've probably seen it. They were all clamoring, oh my God, we want the Brickyard back. Oh my God, we want the oval back. Oh my goodness, the oval, the oval, the oval, the oval. We got the oval, and it was dog shit.
Now shut up.
Bruh, you got the oval, and it was crap. It was terrible. It was horrible. It was the exact same type of racing that we had, even with this new car. It was the exact same racing that we had, even with the Gen 5 and even with the Gen 6. I saw absolutely no difference. This race last year, and not to mention also terrible officiating on top of that at the end of the race to end it. And mind you, tell you the truth, after Byron had wrecked, I stopped watching the race. I was already angry enough as it was watching this race. After Byron wrecked, I was just done.
So I
shut the race off.
So right when Byron crashed out, you immediately changed the channel.
I immediately, not to mention I was also on a party too with some of my oh my God, I can't even speak tonight. I was also on a party with my racing buddies as well. So I was like, you know what? I'm just jumping off this. I'm like, screw this. I'm not even watching this race. I'm just going to just play some more College Football 25 and just hang with the boys. I'm not doing this.
So you were like, this shit, I'm out.
Literally, that's exactly what I did. I didn't even see the end of the race. I didn't even see Kyle Larson win. I didn't even see the terrible officiating and so everybody was talking about it because I didn't care. That's one of the, dude, I want to be honest with you. That's one of the couple of times in my life as a NASCAR fan that I have ever, and I mean have ever done this, have ever stopped watching a race
midway through
in the middle of it. I'm not kidding. That's one of the only times I've ever done that where I've just legitimately stopped watching a race midway through. That's the first time in years that I did that. And I did that for a reason.
Due to Byron crashing out and the fact
that I can't see
Indy still wasn't that good as far as the racing product was concerned.
Indy is horrible. Indy is trash. I'm sorry. As far as NASCAR is concerned, Indy is garbage. It doesn't matter if we race it on the road course. And I feel like the road course to a degree was a little bit better. And that still had its problems. But the oval is terrible. It's not good.
What about the road course?
It's not suitable for it. As far as NASCAR racing is concerned, it's not suitable for it. It's just not. This track was not made with NASCAR in mind. It wasn't. It never was.
It was always made with IndyCar. IndyCar.
Dude, this track is literally a track that was designed for IndyCar racing. It was never designed with F1 or even NASCAR in mind. It never was. This was designed for open wheel racing, not with stock cars in mind. Why do you think they drive so terribly at this track? The racing is subpar mediocre. You can barely pass anybody. Even if you get a run, you literally have to make sure you set it up right, because if you don't, you're not getting the pass on them into the corner. And not to mention with these packages that we've been using the last number of years, especially since it's 2015, you literally can't do anything. You're stuck behind someone what feels like forever. And there's so much drag, you can't even close, I feel like, on anybody. The leader pulls out to a 2 to 3 second gap and they're gone.
It was like that, especially when NASCAR had that package. What was it, the 550 package?
Oh my God.
not even just the 550. Do you remember in 2015 when they had those giant ass spoilers on the back of the car?
Yes.
And how horrible for a couple races and how horrible that was?
Yes.
Jesus Christ, that racing was terrible.
You think?
God,
It was terrible. It was horrible.
2018 in NASCAR was the worst thing ever.
I literally am so glad I found someone else that agrees because obviously, of course, if you probably know me, at least for me personally, the 2018 NASCAR season, to me at least, is the worst NASCAR season I have. It's between 2018 and 2019. Those are two of the worst NASCAR seasons I have ever watched in my life, period.
Because of how mediocre, I'm guessing because of how mediocre Jimmy Johnson was, or how the season was as a whole?
No. The whole season, dude. It wasn't even just the fact that Jimmy was bad. It's not even just the fact that it was just Jimmy being horrible. I mean, of course, it did have a lot to do, yes, with where my personal life was at the time, but that's the story for another time. As far as just NASCAR was concerned, it wasn't even just the simple fact, too, that you had just the same three guys winning every week. I mean, that was part of it. But, again, the racing for a lot of the season, outside of a couple bangers, obviously like Daytona and Chicagoland, obviously was the best race of the season. The second Martinsville race was amazing. Obviously, we all know that.
Well, the finish,
but
a lot of people will beg to differ on that.
Aside from that, though, especially in the first half of the season and for much of the season, you were just watching the same thing basically every single week over and over and over again. And not to mention, you were literally watching not just the same three guys leading and winning, but you're also watching all these young guys that were hyped up to the moon and back, struggling to even stay on the lead lap most of the time.
Kyle Larson was one of them, along with Byron. Chase Elliott to a degree, even though Chase won 3 races later in the second half of the season. Watkins Glen, Dover Down.
I mean, Jesus.
I was there for that one.
Look at this, for example. It's like, listen to this. When we got 10 races in after Talladega, heading into Dover, we were 10 races in. At that point, Kyle Busch had 3 wins, Kevin Harvick had 3 wins. Dude, freaking Clint Bowyer hadn't won a race in 5 years, and here he is having a win because he's got no competition.
Exactly. Dude.
Literally, fans were being forced to root for these young guys, and because so many of them were struggling, a lot of fans were abandoning it. I mean, look at this. Ryan Blaney at that point, 10 races in, Ryan Blaney, 8th in points at that point. 8th in points was the highest running young driver in points. And he's driving for Team Penske, one of the top teams in the sport. I mean, think of it this way. Look at this. Matt Kenseth had to come out of retirement to replace one of these young guys. Yeah. Matt Kenseth had to come out of retirement because Rashomon Racing saw that Trevor Bayne wasn't getting it done.
Trevor Bayne is a NASCAR.
They split the ride. Some races Matt Kenseth was driving it. Other races you had Trevor Bayne still racing regardless.
You know what's bad when you have to call up a retired, somewhat, I'm not even going to say, I'm just going to say it. A retired, washed up Matt Kenseth to come back and run your car because the young guy you have had in that car since the 2014 and 2015 season hasn't been getting it done. Think about how horrible that is real quick. Think about how awful that is. Drink that in. You have to call up Matt Kenseth, who left your team after 2012 to go race for Gibbs from 2013 to 2017, got kicked from his ride because Eric Jones was taking it over in 2017, has been sitting at home for the past few months, and then literally around May, I think it was? Around May or April, it's announced that he is taking over the ride and replacing, and literally, they kicked Trevor Bayne out of that 6 car and put Kenseth in it.
What does that tell you?
To me, that tells me that clearly he wasn't getting it done, so they had to bring in some veteran leadership, and even that didn't do much.
No.
Because Roush at the time, before Keselowski got there, was a sinking ship.
Just saying it was a sinking ship is an understatement, given how horrible they were when Carl Edwards left.
I mean, not even just when Edwards left. I mean, to be honest, I feel like for me, the dominoes really started to fall after Kenseth left. I mean, sure, they were still competitive, yeah, but literally, once Kenseth left, then you got it only was Carl Edwards was still obviously really, really good, carrying the team on his back. Yeah, Biffle would win a race or two or whatever. But after 2013, he went winless the rest of his career. And then once Carl Edwards left, then they started really struggling. Then they just had Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Greg Biffle. I mean, Ricky Stenhouse for his first 5 seasons wasn't very good. Didn't even win a race for 5 years
until
he was dog shit
Talladega in the spring of 2017. And honey, that's a penny.
Literally, you literally have Stenhouse here, and then you have literally him paired with Trevor Bayne, also with an aging Greg Biffle, way past his prime, and that they literally shrunk from a 5-car team to then at one point them being a 2-car team with a Stenhouse and Trevor Bayne for a little bit, and then after that, then you just had then it just became guys were swapping between through the 6 and everything. You still had Stenhouse there just for a little bit. That was really it. Not much else.
And then when Keselowski came
we
in,
gotta wrap this up.
then when Keselowski came in, that's when the team slowly but surely start to climb back up. But again, it's slow progress. And hey, they won a race last spring.
To be fair,
at Darlington.
I mean, it's wild the fact that now. I literally thought that Brad was basically selling himself short going to Roush after 2021. I was like, oh, he's gonna kill his career. But tell you the truth, holy shit, man, that gamble paid off.
Yes, it did.
I gotta tell you, I really gotta tell you, that gamble paid off.
Again, it's slow but steady progress. That Roush could possibly and hopefully become championship contenders again, because they haven't been championship caliber since what? 2008? That long.
As far as winning a championship is concerned, or being like in contention for one?
Being in contention. To my knowledge, 2000.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna say
that's how long it's been.
Yeah, with Edwards in 2008.
That's how.
So it's definitely been a long time. I mean, think of it this way: they haven't actually won a championship since Kurt Busch's back in 2004.
Over 20 years now.
They haven't hoisted a championship since Kurt Busch's only title in 2004. And that's back when Roush was considered one of the top best teams at the time. When, especially, I mean, you remember this, Calvin, when you and I were growing up. Roush was one of the top 3 teams in the sport. I mean, they had the most drivers to next to 100. I mean, they had 5 drivers on that team, all amazing drivers, especially once they got 2005, 2006.
Made the chase in 2005.
Literally, all 5 of them. If that doesn't scream at the time powerhouse team, I don't know what does. All 5, literally more than half of that 10 race chase field were Roush drivers.
You had Kurt Busch, Matt Kenseth, Carl Edwards, Mark Martin. You had all those guys.
Biffle, all 5 of them, all made the chase in 2005.
And yet, they didn't win the championship.
And that's the sad part, though. All 5 of your drivers make it, and none of them win it.
That island went to Tony Stewart.
Pretty much. That's the crazy part.
Exactly. We got to wrap this up. It's getting really late.
Coincidentally enough,
12:30
beat a Roush driver in Carl Edwards to win his third championship. Coincidentally enough. Now that I think about it, he beat all times Tony Stewart won his Cup Series championship. He had to beat the Roush drivers to do so. 2002, it was Mark Martin and Matt Kenseth. Mainly Mark Martin, since Mark Martin was more consistent. 2005, Greg Biffle, as well as the other 4 Roush drivers. And 2011, Carl Edwards. So, no, 2011 was the last time Roush had a legitimate shot at the championship. 2011.
Strange, right?
But at the same time, crazy to think about that it's been that long. That long.
It's been over now. What is 2011 now? 15, 14 years?
14 years ago. Coincidentally enough, card number 14 won it.
I was 12 years old when that happened. Holy shit.
Time flies. You're feeling old. You're feeling old, don't you?
Dude, when that happened, I was only 12 years old when that race took place. Watching that live and everything, I was only 12 years old at the time. I was literally in the middle of still around still beginning around my 6th grade year at that time. Holy moly, Jesus Christ! I was in the 6th grade at the time.
Time flies, doesn't it? You're feeling old. You're feeling old, aren't you?
Very.
When NASCAR 2011, the game was goated too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Arguably goated. Now, honey, you say
at least for me it is. I know at least for me that it is.
And me too. Now, honey,
it's 12:30. We gotta wrap this up. quick because it's 12:30 in the morning on a Friday.
Well, given the fact that, again, you went from being super hyper to super tired, I can see why you say that. That being said, this pretty much concludes the first episode of 2025 of the podcast episode. First episode of the new year. Already. We're off to quite a start. But other than that, Saundra, if you can still hear me, unmute yourself so you can say your outro. But until the next one, folks, that pretty much concludes episode 12 in all of Turn 4 Sparks Controversy. Hope you all enjoyed. And for the sake of my boo-boo wanting to go to bed, we're going to wrap this up. This is Turn 4 signing off the mic as always. And until the next one, peace out, stay safe, and have a good one. All right, y'all. Y'all know what to do. Say your outro, and we can wrap this up. Ladies first.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Anything else? My sleepyhead.
Oh my God! Shut up.
Love you too, honey.
Love you too, baby. And hopefully we'll see you around.
Catch y'all later.
To quote the iceberg, subscribe to the channel, and just subscribe to the channel for more great NASCAR content. And until next time, have a good one.